Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Godzilla fan, JurassicZilla here, back at it again with another video. In this video, I'll be reacting to Goji Center's Titanus Shimo Explained Titan Breakdown. So he's going to be breaking down Titanus Shimo from Godzilla X Kong. Shimo, who knows? But anyways, I can't wait to watch this. Goji Center has made some other good Godzilla X Kong videos that I did watch on my own. Sadly, I didn't get to react to them, so I thought, may as well react to this video. And I can't wait to see what he says about Shimo and if there's anything that maybe I didn't know. But anyways, let's get right into this video, shall we? Just your friendly neighborhood Godzilla fan. Also, if you see, Shimo is literally right there, so he's gonna be right there. You probably won't see her though, because my head's blocking her. But anyways, let's go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Today, the analysis platform will feature a brand new Titan of proportions never seen before, dwarfing Kong, Scar King, Godzilla, and even maybe the current largest Titan in the MonsterVerse,
Standing up on
Ghidorah.
2 legs,
That's right,
might be taller than
Shimo
Ghidorah.
has entered the MonsterVerse.
Alright,
Make sure you
I'll
stay
say
warm
Shimo.
because things are about to get chilly. Coming up, Titanus Shimo Explained.
Nice.
Shimo
that's
is one
from
of those
Dopo.
Titans that was more or
Dopo
less
made that
leaked
little
long
model.
before an official reveal whenever the figures started appearing in stores. But as many of you know, Shimo was actually teased long before any of these leaks confirmed
In
it
the
as
Call
an
of
actual
Duty,
Titan in the MonsterVerse.
Godzilla vs. Kong
Back
event
in 2022, Call
that
of
I
Duty
did not
Warzone
play.
launched Operation Monarch, featuring a map where players got to interact with Godzilla, including this one. This particular cave art
Look how
featured
big
Godzilla
she is
squaring
there.
off
I mean,
against a really large and at the time unknown monster. Most people speculated this to be a random piece of placeholder artwork, but others suspected this was a new kaiju yet to be released. These suspicions turned out to be true, as rumors of a massive kaiju with crystals on its back began to emerge. Eventually, this would be known as Shimo, the massive and first Titan in the MonsterVerse lore. Interestingly, this is yet another example of a franchise introducing their inevitable big white-colored addition to their roster of creatures. Take the Indominus Rex, for example.
Oh yeah,
Ice
Indominus
Age's
Rex.
Rudy. How to Train Your Dragon's Bewilderbeast, just to name a few. Now, in the MonsterVerse, we have Shimo. Official information about Shimo is really limited as of now, but by looking at its abilities in the most recent trailers and also knowing what its full body looks like, we can make some really well-educated guesses as to how this creature behaves, what its proportions are, and how it fights. Having said this, here's a potential spoiler warning before you proceed. Compiling all this data, we'll go ahead and bring forth a good speculative model of what Shimo actually looks like in our analysis platform. Meanwhile, how about we take you behind the scenes and take a look at how Goji Center's editing and research team surfs the internet to make these videos. This is the Opera browser, and these guys came up with Tabful.
A few moments later.
Oh, she's ready for viewing, and here she comes. That's right, Shimo is confirmed to be female, the mother of all kaijus.
She's a female.
We'll explain this more later in this episode, but for now, let's cover some physical attributes of this monster. For this episode, Goji Center collaborated with Dope, who not only provided us with an excellent 3D model of Shimo for your viewing, but also the one responsible for designing Titanus Tiamat, also rumored to appear in Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. One piece of footage that helps us understand how colossal this Titan actually is this clip seen in the trailer. It's been shared around the internet quite a bit, mostly because it does a really good job at showcasing how big she is. On all fours, it seems like Shimo rivals the size of an upright, evolved Godzilla.
I can see Shimo,
now,
like,
at this point, when this episode is released, there isn't an official size for evolved Godzilla. But our best guess is that this evolved form did get a bit taller. At least,
I mean, if you look at the figures, the figure of evolved
use this
Godzilla's
clip
a
as
little bit
reference and
taller.
scale Shimo, we see that this Titan can not only be close to as tall as Godzilla, but also capable of rearing up and being much, much taller than any Titan in the monsterverse.
Reminds me of Anguirus a
To give
lot.
you fun speculative comparisons, we can compare this with some of the largest kaijus in the franchise. Lengthwise, we have a Titan like Tiamat, who is said to be 847 feet in length. Compared to Shimo's mass, it seems like Tiamat is outclassed in every single
Tiamat
aspect.
looks really small.
Keep in mind that Tiamat is no pushover. Probably one of the strongest Titans currently, but now embarrassingly
Fought Godzilla
small
in the
compared
water.
to Shimo. Another big fella is Titanus Methuselah, 322
Methuselah,
feet tall
one
at
of
the
the most
shoulder, capable of
underrated
having lots of different
kaijus in the
formations on his
monsterverse.
back. Shimo seemingly dwarfs Methuselah, even with the mountain that he carries with him everywhere. Ghidorah, for instance, is a whopping 521 feet in height. Much taller than Godzilla, but Shimo, if reared up, can look down at Ghidorah and bite off its three puny heads with one chomp. Kong, come
all
on
the
now.
heads can fit in one
We have
mouth.
a very special theory coming up that talks more about this. Just keep watching. Because of this gargantuan mass, we will speculate that this is automatically the heaviest Titan in the monsterverse known so far. Much of the weight might come from the denser portions of the body, such as the crystals on her dorsals. The arrangement of these crystals is suspiciously similar to those of Godzilla. Arranged along her back, coming all the way down to the tail,
smaller,
these
gets
could
bigger,
serve
goes
a
smaller
very
again.
similar function as Godzilla's dorsal plates, lighting up while powering up its main weapon, or simply serving as an intimidation display as well.
Yeah, I have always
form, these
wondered
are a
if they were
mixture
going to
of
actually
purple and
glow
blue,
in the
but we
movie.
could guess that these can light up to different colors.
Because we haven't
Probably
seen it,
solid
like,
blue,
light up
purple,
yet.
or white perhaps, matching its lighter skin,
I could
which
see, like,
in
a
conjunction
white
could
color.
serve as camouflage in frigid areas. Here, for example, most people will not even see Shimo from afar
you can
because
see
her
her just
coloration in
down
this
there with
clip
her tail
blends in
sticking
with the
up.
frigid environment she's surrounded by. Okay, so it's evident by now that this kaiju is synonymous with freezing temperatures and special abilities that exploit freezing elements. For example, notice in these clips that the mere presence of
you can
Shimo is
see,
cold
like,
enough to freeze the surrounding
ground
environment.
just freezing,
It's evident by now that
Scar King
Shimo
just standing in the
thrives in some
background.
sort of cave veiled by lava waterfall. Even in this really, really hot environment, Shimo, upon stepping out of the
She can
cave,
still
is
just
so cold
freeze the
that
ground.
even her presence will freeze the ground that was moments ago burning hot because of the lava. Her presence alone could even offset the temperature of this place, making it more habitable to the great apes that live here. This cold phenomenon is mind-blowing already just by her sitting around. Now imagine getting touched by this thing. Her body temperature being this cold could even make her impact more
How is
powerful.
Scar King supposed
Let's
to
study
ride on
this
top
a
of
little bit
Shimo
more,
if she's
given her
freezing
proportions
cold?
and the
Who knows?
colossal size of these limbs, especially the front ones, will make any melee attack from Shimo a lot more deadly. Her arms alone are massive enough to outclass literally any other kaiju in the monsterverse in frontal combat. Yes, probably even Godzilla. Just look at the
look at the
difference in
little
reach.
arms.
This impact, along with the frigid temperatures, will spell doom to whoever makes contact with this kaiju. Freezing any body part, risking frostbite, which so
She could
happens
just,
to
like,
be an actual name of one of the abilities,
freeze
Frostbite
a Titan
Blast.
and then step
Before
on
we
him and
break
just
down
crush
this
them.
ability, let's move down to a
I
weapon
wouldn't be surprised
that
if that's how
can
Scar
kill
King
with one
dies. Who
impact,
knows?
the Thagomizer. This ferocious-looking
And
weapon
then
is
she's got
seemingly
that
made out of the same material
crystal
as its dorsal
tail.
spikes, formed in a way that can look like sharp obsidian blades. These mounted on a long tail, powered by these hips, can
Like
wind up
Godzilla
enough energy
Evolved's
to
tail.
fatally lacerate any, yes, any kaiju with just one hit. Seeing this thing come at your face is nothing but certain death. Even without any additional abilities, Shimo seems nothing but unstoppable. But there's more. In the trailer, we were introduced to Shimo's Frostbite Blast. This clip begins with the trail of a blast that was already fired towards
exactly.
Kong.
You can see, like, the
Kong
smoke.
regains his footing and grabs his axe to
Like
see
the
if he can
mist.
block this shot
I wonder
in the
what that
same
was
way as he
from.
blocked Godzilla's atomic blast back in GVK. This ability, unlike Godzilla's, cannot be fully absorbed by the axe. Just a little bit, though. However, the cold freezing effects of this Frostbite Blast prove to be too much for Kong, who gets knocked back hundreds of feet while he feels his arm get covered in ice. Appropriately named Frostbite Blast, this ability injures Kong to the point of needing to be
his whole
equipped with
entire
the Beast
hands
Glove.
just getting
This clip
frozen.
showcases his injured arm underneath. Frostbite has the ability of rendering the affected muscles useless, injuring them to the point of permanent damage. So in this film, in order for Kong to continue fighting, he will strongly depend on this apparatus to give him a fighting chance against any kaiju. This dangerous ability comes out of this animal's colossal head and mouth. Proportionally speaking, this animal is technically large enough to potentially grab any of these great apes and easily bite their heads off and freezing them in the act. So now that we have a pretty basic understanding on what Shimo can do, let's try to figure out more of the dark side of this Titan, its lore, and its most dangerous ability.
Villain.
The synopsis of Godzilla Kong, The New Empire reads that both Godzilla and Kong face a colossal threat hidden within the planet, challenging their existence and the survival of the human race. Now that we know who Shimo is and what she's capable of, this synopsis makes total sense now. After all, Shimo is said to have started the Ice Age thanks to her ability to change the climate. This may be her most destructive ability after all. Note that we didn't say anything about weather manipulation, but climate manipulation. There's a big difference. Let us explain. The term weather refers to short-term atmospheric conditions. Examples of this are rainy days, occasional snow that falls during the winter, hail,
weather
storms,
is like
days, etc.
in the moment. Climate
however,
is like
refers to weather
changing
patterns
forever
by region. For instance, if you live in Florida, you're probably accustomed to predominantly warm climates. Those who live relatively closer to the poles will experience fresh climates year-round. The thing is, Shimo here has the ability of changing climates, and this is a huge deal. Remember, something capable of starting ice ages can manipulate the atmosphere in a given area to turn cold. Rio de Janeiro, for example, lies within a tropical climate. Temperatures are fairly warm year-round. Summer down here falls between December and January, while winter runs through June to August. Enter Shimo to the equation, and she can potentially switch things up permanently. Not just here, but around the globe. That's right. This is what the synopsis means when it says challenging the survival of the human race. How? Can't we just put coats on and be fine with a little bit of
Geostorm.
ice? No. Frigid climates like the ones seen in the Ice Age will completely change up the dynamics of human survival around the world. To very quickly and simply explain this, let's ignore for a moment that a colossal kaiju is roaming around killing everything and focus just on the effects of an ice age. Humans need food, yes? Well, guess what? A lot of the agricultural goods produced around the globe are going to be unable to be grown. Some areas will be too cold for living. Eventually, most of the planet would be freezing, making most land inhospitable for human life, comfortably at least. Overcrowding will occur, and resources would get alarmingly low, causing death tolls to rise due to starvation and self-inflicted attrition. An abrupt ice age like this would not give us any time to prepare for impending doom, and a lot of human life on the planet will be lost. Yeah, that's Shimo for you, a walking weapon of mass extinction, currently doing the bidding of Scar King. Oh yeah, this brings us to some of the deep lore we promised to explain. This monster, as powerful as it is controlled by Scar King, or is by one way or another under the influence of this great ape. Speculations are all over the place on how this relationship works, but we'll go ahead and guess it has something to do with this crystal found at the very tip of the whip, which, if we look closely, resembles something that belongs to Shimo. We'll guess that Scar King some long time ago stole possession of this crystal and mounted it on some form of subjugating weapon, such as this whip, which in turn sort of acted as a way to bond Shimo to Scar King's will. We discussed how a Titan like this could already dispatch lots of different kaijus, and if it was turned against the great apes, it's no wonder how Scar King was able to amass a giant army of apes, using Shimo as a way to intimidate others, used as a power symbol to amass the following of an ape army, and execute those insubordinate apes that don't seem to collaborate. So in a way, Shimo is similar to what the Rancor is to Jabba the Hutt, both as a means of executing by making the victim an example of him, and even as some evil form of entertainment. Can this link be broken, though? If we're speculating that Shimo is under the control of Scar King, would it be possible that Shimo can be in some way liberated?
By the end of the movie.
If we entertain the idea that this crystal has anything to do with this link, the destruction of it may imply that Shimo is free from Scar King's influence, and perhaps turn on its captor, who previously had it doing stuff that may or may not have been things Shimo would normally do.
I would love it if
using
Shimo
the whip
was
as
the
either
one
a way to tell it what to do, or even calling Shimo by name.
controlled.
Oh yeah, don't think just because these
breaks
animals
free,
are kaijus, we'll throw out
kills
the
them.
possibility that Scar King can talk. This is a wild card, but there's no mention as to
I mean,
how
he
Shimo was
could.
named. Even though the word Shimo means pit or hole in Swahili or ice or frost in Japanese, this word is suspiciously similar syllable-wise to Suko, who happens to also be part of this ape tribe. So it is possible that these great apes perhaps communicate verbally amongst each other, associating names to individual members of the clan. Those of note at
Possibly.
least, and one definitely given to
Or Scar
Shimo.
King could just
This
maybe,
is a theory, but one
I don't know,
definitely
like,
plausible to a
write it on the
sophisticated
wall or
clan
something,
of great
Shimo.
apes.
Alright, Goji Center. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit more information on Shimo. Finally realizing how big Shimo is. Shimo is humongous. She could probably eat Kong in one bite. So that fight at the end of the movie, I'm assuming at the very end, that's where they'll fight in the Hollow Earth, where you have Scar King, Shimo, Godzilla, and Kong, and they'll all do a 4-way fight. I'm assuming that's going to be at the very end. And if that's the case, yeah, Godzilla is definitely going to have to fight Shimo, because if Shimo gets to Kong, Shimo might be able to just easily kill Kong. Like, let's be honest here. Also, I do wonder how strong is Shimo's Frostbite going to be. Like, you know, Godzilla has radiation. I'm assuming if Shimo shoots her Frostbite at Godzilla, Godzilla would just melt it away, kind of like how Godzilla breaks out of the ice in the one scene from the trailer. So I feel like to Godzilla, it won't be too much of a problem. But to Kong, Scar King, and a lot of other Titans, even Titans like Ghidorah, definitely a huge problem. Shimo might end up being maybe like the second strongest Titan behind Godzilla, I should say. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm in love with Shimo right now. Shimo is a really cool Titan, and I can't wait to see all of the powers that she has when the movie comes out. That's going to be it for today's video, and as always, have a great Godzilla day.